Drill Sergeant here. What is going on? Today is a video about beginner's guide to how to make homemade sausage. If you've been watching this channel, you know we've done barbecue always, except for making sausage, and I don't know how, but Chef Johnny does. What's up, man?
I do. How you doing, sir?
How's
Good
it going,
to be here.
So Chef Johnny, if you don't know who he is, I will put all his YouTube links down in the description below, but he is Texas's beef loving, what is it? Beef loving?
Ultimate beef loving Texan.
And you got an awesome belt buckle to show for it.
I do.
He knows a lot about sausage.
That's what she said?
I'm going to get behind the camera today, and because I'm learning too, and we're just going to go over how to take your brisket trimmings, how to take some brisket, and then end up with some really, really good, what are we doing, a brisket?
We're going to do a jalapeno and cheese sausage today.
With brisket in there? Ooh,
be
it's
good.
going to be good. I can't wait. So let me get behind the camera and let's get started. Johnny, what gear are we going to need?
You know, to get going, you need a grinder and a stuffer. It's great. It's fun. It's addictive. You get to doing it. Believe me, you're going to go, ooh, can I make this? Ooh, what about that? So it is an addictive process. So be careful because it can get you addicted to making sausage, but it is really fun. We have got some excellent brisket out here today. You can see that we have a point. So we got the fatty end, which is going to help us. A whole brisket, I usually figure, is about 80% lean to 20% fat. I figure it's at 80-20. We're going to get a little higher fat ratio today because we're missing part of that flat. So that's all right. We have saved fat from other cooks, right? We've trimmed briskets, saved it, and we have some trimmings of brisket. So when you trim a brisket, don't throw that away. Put it in a Ziploc, vacuum seal it, and put it in your freezer. And when you're making sausage, when you're needing more beef tallow, something like that, bring it out, render it out then, and it works great. But here's what we're working with today. We're going to get about a total of 10 pounds of meat. So I've got 7 here. We'll weigh this out. It's probably about 2 pounds here and probably about a pound of fat, and then we'll get going. When I slice up my meat, whether it's brisket or pork or whatever it may be, I always like to cut it into slivers. So I'll come in here, I'll cut it, as you can see what I'm doing. And then these slivers, what I'm going to do is cube them because we don't want to overload our grinder. But I'm just going to keep cutting this brisket up, get it chopped up, and then we'll get our trimmings and get those in there and get our 10 pounds of meat ready to go. We're about ready to start grinding. Now, what I did was I went and put our grinding head in the refrigerator to keep it cold. If you have a freezer that'll fit in, even better, go sit it in there. We don't want to start rendering out fats. Especially today, we're here outside and we're in Texas, right? So things can warm up real quick. Your hands are going to warm them up. So we want to get this ground and keep it as cold as we possibly can. So we have a cold grinding head. The meat gets set back in the refrigerator anytime we're waiting. So we want to do that and keep everything really cold. But we're going to turn this on, start feeding it through our grinder. Also, just to let you know, I did put a little oil on the grinding plates and on the cutter. That way they don't start off dry and they just have less friction on there to wear out your plates and everything faster. This is a coarse grind that I'm going through. We're going to run it through this twice. I do not like a real fine sausage. Unless I'm making bangers or hot dogs or bologna, you will see I run it through the coarse plate, maybe the coarse plate twice, but I will not do it real fine because I don't like the meat texture. I like it to be a little more coarse, a little more chew to it. But let's just keep going here. We're going to get all this ground up and we'll let you see what we do next. Our meat is inside cooling off. We have our seasonings. And what I have here is 6 tablespoons of coarse ground salt, 4 tablespoons of black pepper, 4 tablespoons of granulated garlic, and 6 ounces of tomato paste. That's going to be the base for it. We're going to get that in there. Then we're going to sample it. So at the end, we're going to go fry up a patty, see if we like it. And if we do, we'll stuff it. If not, we'll adjust it at that time. Got our meat back out of the cooler. It's been sitting in there chilling a little bit. I'm just going to come back in with our salt and just spread it throughout your meat. 6 tablespoons of salt. 4 tablespoons of black pepper. I've done this recipe a lot. I've made it with brisket. I've made it into snack sticks. I made it into summer sausage. Garlic, 4 tablespoons. I've used javelina, made a javelina sausage out of it. So this is a very good recipe that I can mix with a lot of different proteins and still come out with a good sausage. And the last thing to go in is our tomato paste. Spread that around where it goes in. And I'm going to bring Andrew back over here because this is the rookie job of mixing. But we're going to pick up and turn and mash to get this done.
And if you have to get my hands dirty,
he's got to get his hands dirty. He's got gloves on, okay? It'll be all right. But I've started it. You kind of look and you can see where the pepper is. You can still see there's spots of tomato paste. That's when you know it's not mixed enough. Also, I'll point out, we got our grinding head off, took it, put it in the refrigerator, keep it cold, because we're going to run this back through there another time. So we're going to turn it, bring it over to the top, mash it in, squeeze it between your fingers, all that kind of fun stuff. So have fun, buddy. That's your job.
All right, cold beers are over there, right?
Yeah, right.
So squeeze down and then squeeze it.
Yep. Just keep mixing it up.
Just keep on folding it over. All right.
And then running it through the grinder is going to help it mix again also. We are ready for the next grind. Got everything ready to go. We're going to start putting it in. And we're just going to mix in our jalapenos and our cheese as we go, because we will mix it again after it's all come through the grinder. And that will be our final grind. So 2 times through the coarse plate or the 10 millimeter plate. Kind of fill up my catch tray up here. So I'm going to just let the cheese come through a little bit at a time. I'll add cheese, I'll add jalapeno, then I'll add meat, and it'll naturally just mix it all together. If you wanted your jalapenos to be littler, you could run them through during the first grind. That way they'd go through the grinder twice. But I don't mind a little bit bigger pieces of jalapeno.
So how much cheese to how much jalapeno are you using?
I use usually about 1 pound of cheese for 10 pounds of protein, whatever the meat may be.
And how many jalapenos?
And this one, we put 6, I would say, large jalapenos, totally to taste for you. And jalapenos, they're hard to judge because you never can figure their heat. So remember, again, you can add, you can't take out. But when we cook that patty, it'll give us a good idea what it's going to be like.
All right, let's go make a sample patty. All right, moment of truth.
Find out if it's good or not. You'll find out I'm all, what does he call it, all hat and no cattle?
You did come up on here a horse. I was impressed on that. So I see the cheese in here. I see the jalapeno. That's good.
Ratios are right. Don't need to adjust them. That's good. I have our casings ready to go. Now these we got, and they were in a saltwater brine. They're already pliable. They just have salt on them. You rinse off the inside and the outside. So you put them up on your faucet and flush them out good. Get all the brine out of them. If you have dried ones, you have to put them in warm water, rehydrate them. But again, get rid of the salt. So that's been done. We did that step off camera. Now we're fixing to get this full of meat. And these are natural hog casings, so they are hog intestines. And that's where we're going to put our sausages in. So we've got our pot. I think these are a 15-pound pot is what they are. We're just going to take our meat, stuff it down in there, and you want to try to eliminate any air pockets. I know some guys that'll get a big meatball and they'll just kind of, that way it'll plop in there and take out the air. We didn't talk about protein extrusion. When you mix it, you kind of want to get this where it sticks together. It gets kind of sticky and it'll pull apart and it kind of stays there. To make a good sausage, you want good protein extrusion. That's going to have to do with how much you work your meat. And on that, I have one of the meat stuffers that hooks onto my grinder. That works great because I can turn it on and blend it for a while. And it'll give me that texture I'm looking for. But just if you grab it, and I don't have 2 gloves on right now, but and kind of pull it apart and they kind of want to stay together. It kind of strings out between them. That is good protein extrusion. You got your proteins activated in there. Good way to do it. But you always want to mix it enough that you have that in there. So we're going to put it back. The plungers here, it's got a plastic or silicone gasket that helps hold it where it'll push down and not go. So we're going to, I get it ready to go. And you can look, one thing I do like, at first I wasn't sure how I would like these plastic ones, because I had stainless steel ones on some of my other stuffers. But if you look, you can see exactly where your meat is. So I'm gonna get it close to where I want it, then back off the pressure, let it sit there. Now we can put in our first hog casing, right? Put a little water on my horn, get it moist. Now there is water inside of these casings also, but it's gonna help it slide on and off a little better. This will get some nice comments. So there's our first casing. We're gonna tie a knot in here. What I do is I pull a loop through it, and then that tag in, I push back so the loop don't come out, because these are kind of slippery and they will slide, the knot will slide out, but that's a good secure knot. And then we want to hold to let our air out. So just gonna take a knife, and you can take it and just, that's all it takes. There's a little hole in there. They make something called a sausage prick that has 3 or 4 little spikes on it. Or if you wanted to just poke you a hole in the end with the tip, we just want the air to come out. Now we're ready to stuff our first sausage. You're the crank man. The thing is slow and steady. I'll tell you to speed up, slow down. We don't want to blow a casing out. That will happen. It just, sometimes there's weak spots. But what we're going to do is start turning kind of slow and steady. And we're going to fill these up tight, but not tight enough we can't twist them.
Got it.
All right. So you ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
You just tell me.
Slow. And we do have this clamped down to the table, guys. You can go a little faster. And you're just going to let this feed off of the horn. And I don't twist as I go. I twist at the end. And if you get where it's kind of loose, you can always stop. Go ahead and stop. Just show people.
Okay.
You can pinch it down a little bit, right? Then pull it back on there. And we're going to fill up this whole one. And your hand on the horn is kind of what regulates pressure. Your left hand is what you're going to use to coil your sausages up with. I have done this by myself, guys, but it is not easy and it is not fun. It's always better to have somebody to help you out in this part of it.
Now, what happens if when you're doing this and then you get like it bursts?
Then you just start over.
Do you just like
keep
tie
going.
it off or
I'll
whatever?
tie it off right there
Got
and
it.
keep going. As you can see, we're starting to get a little closer to the end. So we'll just slow down when we get to the very
Got
end.
it. Definitely see the importance of clamping this down to the table.
Now, if you had water, some kind of liquid in there,
Yeah.
I don't always use that, but it'll add moisture to yours.
Mhm.
All right, let's stop and then back pressure off. Here we go here. So pull it off, push it down, tie a knot in it. But if we're going to make regular sausages, just, I kind of use the size of my hand.
Yeah.
So my first pinch is there, go the size of my hand,
Mhm.
pinch is here. And see, I have it tight, but not tight enough that these will break.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll it forward.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to come here, right? Hand. This time it's going to go backwards. That way they won't come apart. And if I'm smoking these, if we've used curing sauce, this is a fresh sausage.
Yes.
So there is no curing to it. It's going to get cooked in the barbecue pit. These will hang fine. Doing this way, they won't unroll when you hang them.
That's awesome.
Look at that. Here we go, a nice batch of jalapeno and cheese brisket sausage. It's a nice beef sausage. And the patties were great, so I'm sure on the pit, it's even going to be better.
All right, Chef Johnny. Dude, thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
It has. Thank you so much for showing us how to get backyard sausage done. We still have like 9 more pounds to do. So I'm going to finish the rest of this. We'll put them on the grill, fire them up. But dude, thank you so much, man.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
I have to get out of here, folks. I actually have a doctor's appointment, my hoarseness.
So all that work,
Yeah.
and you don't even get to taste the
Don't even, he'll save me a little bit. But anyways,
if he's lucky. Yeah.
He will. He will. I know him. He acts like he's not going to, but he will. He's a good guy. But it's been a pleasure to be with the grill sergeant today. I know y'all love him. He's a great guy. I enjoy watching his channel. I'm glad he made it from California to Texas. He's one of the Californians over here that we'll keep. Always a pleasure. Y'all enjoy the rest of this. I'm going to get out of here. Y'all take care, and I'll see y'all down the road sometime.
Sweet. And that is pretty much it. That was a very, very cool experience. Now, I am going to grill up a few right now. The others, the majority of this, I'm actually going to put in Ziploc bags and freeze them. So when I want to actually have some fresh sausage, thawed out, put them on the grill, and they're ready to go. Let's get a few on the grill right now and see how they came out. All right, I got my pit fired up to 300 degrees. So let's get the sausage links on. All right, check on them in about an hour. All right, let's see where we are at. Oh, beautiful. All right, let me get these pulled. Oh, epic. I don't know about y'all, but I cannot wait. Let's carve in and check this out. Yeah, because I see a little cheese in here, there's some jalapeños.
Pepper, a little seed.
All right, ready? Cheers. Thank you guys for watching. This was fun. Thank you, Chef Johnny, for coming over. Homemade, fresh sausage. This was so good. Can't get enough of it. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Girls, signing out. Woo!